This year has probably been the worst year ever, not because people have been suffering in Ukraine, not because of classified CIA documents being leaked, or not even because Blizzard canceled Overwatch's PvE game mode. No. This is far worse than that. My personal 9/11. A ship in an animated cartoon has finally become real. Obviously, I'm joking, but if you don't know what I'm talking about Rooster Teeth's 3D animated anime called RWBY. Now, I used to be a fan of RWBY back in the day and watched it almost religiously. This shit was my One Piece. Obviously, as I grew older, I realized that RWBY kind of fucking sucks, and there's better shows to waste my time on. And if you don't know what RWBY is, it's about 4 girls, Ruby Rose, Weiss Blake Belladonna, and Yang Xiaolong, together known as Team RWBY. And these 4 girls went to Beacon Academy to become huntresses, which are people who protect citizens from monsters called Grimm. Also, they have cool swords that are also guns, which is pretty much all you need to know about RWBY, because if I'm being honest, there's not a lot you need to know that'll pertain to this video. Some of you may have heard of RWBY, whether for its god-awful writing, its hit-or-miss characters, or its somewhat good fight sequences, and dare I say it, its toxic community. The community is so dogshit, I think it rivals Dream Stands, except it doesn't have the amount of people the Dream Stands do because no one really watches RWBY anymore. I don't really care enough to talk about how bad RWBY has gotten in the recent years, and it's gotten really bad. But if you do want to watch someone talk about this stuff, I recommend watching the video RWBY is Disappointing and Here's Why by H-Bomber Guy, and I say that does a really good job at explaining why the series is taking a huge downturn. So why am I here? Why am I talking to you about the synopsis of RWBY and telling you how bad it is? Well, I want to let you all know some background for this, but I also wanted to tell you everything I say from this point on are just some thoughts I had on the most recent season, and I don't really care about RWBY ships or drama or any of that, so if you post your 5-page essay in the comments on why I'm wrong about something, I promise you, I will not give a shit. I will not read it, so don't bother. Nevertheless, I'm going to talk about my view on RWBY ships when I was a kid and what may or may not have changed up until now. And also, I know I'm really late to this topic, and the topic in question happened a while back, but I don't really care. And keep in mind, this whole video is kind of a joke. It's a joke video. It's not, don't take it seriously. Anyways, when the series first started, they were pushing a romantic relationship between one of the main characters, Blake Belladonna, and Sun Wukong. Little me was all for the ship. It happened naturally, not forced. They're both faunus, which are basically animal people, and they both helped each other with so much to the point where it doesn't feel like a friend helping another friend. A fact that's only further supported when she kisses him, which from what I know about friends, they don't really do. With the only exception being, when you kiss the homies goodnight. That may be the only exception. So far, so good. But then you had a big portion of the RWBY community who, for some reason, wanted Blake to get together with another main character, Yang Xiaolong. Now, I am all for gay relationships and feel they need more representation in media. Well, when they're not just an attempt to make a whole character's whole personality about them being gay, which I think is an insult to homosexuality, and that big corporations like Netflix do to get more retention. Fuck you, Netflix. But when I saw this, little me was very confused, considering that up until this point, I don't think they've shown a single amount of attraction to each other in the story. And what made this worse, many people tried to justify the ship, which they called Bumblebee, because, it's black and yellow, and, their proof was Yang winked at Blake once, or maybe they both had a talk in the same room, or maybe people thought she was blushing at Yang, when in reality she wasn't, because Rooster Teeth has shown how a character looks when they blush before, and it looks nothing like that. And even when people thought she was smiling at her, so therefore they are fucking. I cannot make this up. The RWBY community will see 2 people who share a millisecond of screen time and say they are fucking. It is fucking crazy. And man, I thought, that's fucking cope. There's no way the writers will ever let an underdeveloped ship happen like this, ever happen, right? And if they do, surely they'll develop it at the very least, right? Like, if you're gonna push a ship that the fans want, like, develop it, right? Like, I'd be down for that. But then the next season came, and the two don't interact. I'm not kidding. They don't fucking interact a single time. Now let's fast forward a little more, and by this time it's obvious that the writers are most likely pandering to the fans by making this a ship a reality, which, hey, if you want to make the ship official, that's fine. But for the love of God, please write it well and develop it properly instead of just shoehorning it in. And as you see, that's my argument. So before you start screaming that I'm homophobic, it's not that. It's just this was an incredibly rushed relationship, and it's terrible fucking writing. I would be fine with it if, you know, there was any sort of fucking building up to it, but there was none. Fast forward to a month or two ago, RWBY releases a new episode in which it confirms the relationship of Blake and Yang, and little me would have been devastated. All hopes and dreams of BlackSun, the ship name of Blake and Sun, crushed. Current me kind of just shrugged it off because the writers have been making obvious in recent seasons that this is where it's gonna go. And to give it some credit, the way they do it is actually kind of clever, with the two characters on a bridge, and that they have to meet at the center and they have to like talk about shit. It still doesn't excuse the random addition of the relationship in the series, but at this point, I don't give a shit. RWBY surprisingly trends on Twitter, and man, it is fucking vile, dude. Remember when I said the fans were toxic? Yeah, there's a lot of people just sending death threats to other people because they're like, oh, this was bad or this was good. It doesn't matter. Whatever side, both sides fucking suck. Every side fucking sucks. Everything about the RWBY community sucks, and I recommend none of you interact with anyone in it. And on top of that, Barbara Dunkelman, the voice of Yang Xiaolong, states that, actually, this relationship has been planned since the beginning. Giving RWBY fans that ship the ship another reason to tell everyone I told you so. But I don't really believe that, if I'm being honest. I don't believe they planned that from the start, because if this really was planned from the start, Rooster Teeth and the RWBY team just admitted that they are fucking dog shit and terrible at writing, because in the first 4 volumes, they never even hinted at this becoming a possibility. I think what Barbara said doesn't really help anyone, just makes the RWBY team looks worse by showing their incompetence when it comes to writing. But anyways, I guess I lost. I throw down my weapons and surrender to the Bumblebee army. I'm ready to be lined up Taliban style and fucking executed. Anyways, guys, that's all. I just want to make a goofy little video on this small niche topic that in reality no one's going to give a shit about, but I thought it was kind of funny to talk about. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching it. This is SpiritFire, signing out.